I've been here for 5 years and I've owned 5 businesses in 5 years. And I started giving back to the community. So I started asking myself, what should I do? I started browsing ideas. Then I'm like, podcast. I'll start a podcast. I won't be able to teach the audience because I'm not expert, not qualified to help anyone. But what I can do is ask bold questions to qualified people. And I'm going to ask, how did you make your first million? Because this is credibility. The purpose of this podcast was from the beginning is giving value and giving back. Because I felt like I owe this community. With the market that we have right now, with the quality of labor that we have right now, I'm not talking about Canadians. I'm talking internationally. I went to Argentina, tried to recruit. I went to Italy, tried to recruit. This entitlement and the laziness, this is a disease that's going everywhere. This is not just
you see that, really?
I see it everywhere. Every fucking where. I tried to recruit in Argentina to build a team there. Dude, they're like, you give them 2 options in the interview, they pick the easiest one, the most convenient.
Yeah, but don't give the option, right? Don't give the option.
Well, you have to see what they desire. If they don't desire the same thing that you're offering, you're wasting your time. So for me now, I believe like they told me hire slow, fire fast. I don't agree because of the market right now. We don't have enough labor to hire slow and fire fast. Give more chances, be better leader, be more patient, and help people get over their doubts. I believe the problem with the labor that we have right now, they have so much self-doubts. They have so much problems in the house. So if you can actually dive into this and help them get over their doubts, their own self-doubts, you'll have better teams. What do you think?
That's a tough one, man. Look, it's such...
I would love to fire fast. I would love to. All right? I believe in everything that you said. But with the market that we have right now, it's just hard. I have a team in Lebanon, team in the Philippines. I have 2 people in Morocco, and I had someone in Venezuela. I work with so many countries, man. And I have Canadian employees. I promise you, same mentality. TikTok made everyone the same. There's no differences now in the drive anymore. You know, I came to Canada 5 years ago and everyone could tell the difference.
Look, so I would, let me play devil's advocate. You don't want everyone like you.
I'm not looking for me.
Yeah, but you don't want an army of tigers. Like, you understand? Like, you want diversity. You want people like there's some people that drive me crazy of how, you know, they're meticulous and things like that. And that's why they're in my business, because they will be the ones that slow the other ones and pay attention to something that is very important. Like, I will never put someone in charge of security that has the same personality than me. I would actually hire a friend of mine that is extremely meticulous, very structured, and incredible balanced mind, and always wants us to just go slower for certain things. Not everything.
You need the balance. I understand. I'm saying the 2 things, the laziness and entitlement.
Yeah, okay, well, then
you know how they say North Americans, they act like they were born with a golden spoon? And now you have people that they're fucking poor and they're thinking this way.
Really?
Just because they saw some kids, they're getting rich. I go to networking events when I travel all the time to meet talents, to recruit, to do all this stuff. This is 90% of the reason of my travels. And I see this pattern everywhere.
Really?
Everyone is entitled. Dude, when I first started my marketing agency, I was begging people to give me a chance so I can do something for them for free. I'll do it for free, and if you like it, pay me. If you don't like it, thank you. Sorry for your time. Now, they will send you an email with a quotation and high prices, and they don't even have a portfolio everywhere. Not just in Canada, not just in America.
Well, I mean, look, I can't comment on the state of the whole world. I'm very focused on what is in front of me. And what is in front of me is that very clearly to me, I mean, you can't deal with entitlement, and, you know, you can't deal with entitlement or people that have a reasonable expectation, for sure. You just can't. That's a mindset you can deal with, right? So I don't know about the whole world, but from what I've seen, attitude matters a lot.
I think the biggest flaws now in our labor right now, they're not lazy. They don't have entitlement. That's what they show. But I think they have so much self-doubt. And they think they're letting themselves down. They don't say it, but the way how they cope and the way how they react, it shows that they're so entitled. Because, like, I'm trying to dive deep into my team and see why sometimes they're demotivated. And it's mostly self-doubts, man. And because they have self-doubts and they don't have this confidence, they're acting arrogant, they're acting lazy, they're acting like they don't believe
so the thing with me you have to know is that I'm an extremely direct character. There's no one in my team that will tell you that I don't say it as it is, and that I don't challenge them, and I don't push, and I don't expect greatness. So I think you also have to understand you get what you tolerate, right?
Exactly. What sacrifices you had to do to become this successful?
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
It's from Amy.
Well, Amy, the real question is, what did I not sacrifice to, like, anniversaries, parties, birthdays, Christmas party with the team, because they had a flight to go to, and, there was a deal to go close. Unfortunately, and I maybe should have known that, a bit of health as well. Actually, funny enough, my aunt, who was also building in the business, was my uncle. When I was 19 years old, 20 years old, and I see that she has a wholesome life, with kids, still married, they go good vacations, they have a comfortable lifestyle. I ask her, what is it about people of my age that you think is the number one thing we are not aware of and that I should know to be better than the rest of my cohort in life? And she said, literally that question, she said, well, I think young people like you, Solon, don't know what it is, a sense of sacrificing on the short term for long-term gain. So sacrificing, that means everything. That means when I was, when people would take, vacations when I was young, I was working 2 jobs. I was having a night shift job in hotel, doing the front desk and the closing of the books at night. And then I'll sleep a few hours and then I go walk in a shop, Hugo Boss or other retail store. And then I would sleep, some days were very tough. Coffee was welcomed. I didn't take we went on a road trip and, we went backpacking across Europe. Never done that. The other thing is what other sacrifice? People 23 years old, finish university, year off, year abroad, blah, blah. I was grinding 7 days a week in Silicon Valley, first in the office, last to leave, and working and going on the data center on the weekend to make sure things were running. We show up at 7:30 a.m. after having had 1 hour and a half workout, ready for battle.
So it's not a magic pill. You didn't just take a pill and become a millionaire.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. That's that, yeah. And so the other sacrifice I made is the sacrifice of not seeing family. I leave France, so I have some family in France. When I took the plane coming back, and I'm a big boy, early 40s, and then I had tears. I see my father aging and not seeing him every month, nephews and nieces, that I rarely see once a year, maybe every 2 years. Sacrifice not seeing my family to be in a bigger market called North America and be able to help them back after. What sacrifice have I made? There's so many sacrifices, not buying a fancy car, and I was a millionaire and, building a company, working hard, and no, I'm not going to buy that Mercedes or BMW or whatever other cars that everyone has. And I will show up with a rusty Honda CR-V, although I could buy anything I wanted. And I'm it's still running. I'd rather, put another $25,000 or, have so many sacrifices. It was not easy, man.
Is all of your money in tech, or you invest in real estate as well and other stuff like crypto?
Again,
stocks?
well, the answer, I stay in my lane.
So all in tech.
I stay in my
lane.
lane.
Don't spread your balls.
Look, there's a very simple saying that if you I'm talking about very successful money managers, billionaires, and family offices. There's a sentence that I keep hearing over dinners and forums I went to, and even podcasts. If you want to grow wealth, focus. If you want to retain wealth, diversify. At the end of the day in this game, man, I can go, if I lose everything, I can go pick up a job anywhere and I'll kill it, right? So until I'm at close to retirement age, why would I try to retain? It's the game of growth. And it's almost a civic duty, right?
You're planning to retire one day?
So I want to, and then I discovered what I'm made of, and I look at some people in my family and people I know that have had a similar character than me, and they're 80 years old, they're still working. So
maybe you'll start working less.
Sure, I'll be working less, then I'll start investing a lot more. Even in my family, even people that don't have much, they're housing say, okay, I was in France, I was able to do a 6-digit savings, I sold my 2 houses there. Look, so in Brazil now the price have not increased. I'm going to look for that small city by the coastline that nobody discovered that has a new highway being built. We can buy a 5-bedroom for 150K. It's going to be worth 500K in 3 years. They're like that. This is in the DNA. It's the hunter mindset. It's hunting the next deal, hunting the next opportunity. I don't think that's going to go away with me. Now, the thing is that I'm a bon vivant, French Brazilian. I know how to have enough fun throughout the course of my life that it doesn't feel like I'm working and not enjoying life. So, yeah.
What is an advice you want to give to the audience that they have now so much self-doubts and they're not sure if they're good enough?
Okay, so given this is the Millionaires podcast, the first thing I need to advise them is you need to know the game you're playing to, and you need to size the size the field properly. So $1 million, what is it? Do you know how many millionaires are in North America?
Too many? I'm
Well,
not sure.
so there's 330 million people in North America, roughly, I think. Guess how many of them are millionaires?
1%?
So what that'd be? That'd be like 3 million millionaires?
Yes.
There's 27 million millionaires.
Less than 1%.
No, a lot more. There's more than 10%. It's close to 10% of people are millionaires.
Yes.
So 1 people out of 10 when you walk in the streets are millionaires. So is that unique? Let's raise the game. What would it look like to have $10 million, right? What does it look like? Do you think you can have $10 million of net worth or cash? Then we start talking. Size the field properly. Being a millionaire nowadays is anyone with a bit of time and knows how to make numbers and looking at some areas of real estate. I'll tell you a story. This is a story of a short woman that I met. She was 20 years old and told me in 3 years I'll be a millionaire. And she had a debt of $10,000 in her bank account. And she became a millionaire in 3 or 4 years. Leveraging, hustling hard, working 7 days a week. And she did it. Try to challenge yourself more than that. Size the field properly. Do you think you can do better than, if you're watching that podcast already, you already have more aspirations than 9 people out of 10 in your life. But know that it's not that hard. 1 people out of 10 you can run in the streets are millionaires. Is that enough of a challenge for you? Why don't you try to be that, 1% out of 20 or 50, right? And then get curious about them. My advice is get curious about how they got there, right? What you're doing right now, asking questions. And that curiosity, and that you need to be able to scope and size the task ahead of you. And size your opponent, size the field is something I tell everyone. And then decide where do you want to play. And if you want to become a millionaire, you better be in the place where the field is very big and there's a lot of opportunity to hit the ball. And then when you hit the ball, it's easier than other fields. Don't go play soccer in Brazil. If people practice on the sand, because it makes your muscles and you're a lot more stronger. When they go play on the field, there's a very manicured grass with beautiful spotlights and little people cutting the grass perfectly. That's child's play. So people like me that grew up in a big metropolitan area in poor places like West Indies, an island, there was a lot of poverty, Brazil, and then in the suburbs of Paris, I had the fire on the stomach. I'm tired of this bad environment around me. You arrive in North America where things are a bit easier, you kill it. Right? So if you're born in a place of comfort, you have a disadvantage. If you're born in a place of poverty, playing soccer on sand or playing soccer, like there's a guy on Instagram, go follow him on TikTok, that is training to be an athlete or basketball player in Africa, and he doesn't have money to have enough equipment around him. He made the makeshift gym, and he's a beast in the back, and you see it's made of like wheels of cars and things to lift. And you think when he's going to go to a gym, it's going to be hard for him? And that, So that's the mindset. Be curious, size the field, and know if you're at disadvantage or advantage when you enter the field, right? You have to be really aware of what you bring in the game.
How can you find your talent? If your daughter
try a lot of
to
shit. Try a lot of things.
Yeah.
Try a lot of things and try a lot of things and do a lot of things and try a lot of things. And the evidence of what you succeed will give you the confidence to go after it.
What if you keep on trying your whole life? I know some people.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of that.
They're still trying to find.
And so what?
Hobbies.
These founders that started companies. Like give you an example. There's people that started stuff at 52 years old and became billionaires.
Yes, I'm not saying there's nothing
right?
wrong with it. There's
Do you know
anything
my
wrong
favorite
with
song? My favorite song from Bill Mathers, "A Lovely Day." Have you heard the story of that author?
No.
He wrote that song when he was mopping the floor of an airport in the U.S. for almost a decade, 9 years. He wrote that song. Can you imagine the guy was going into his closet where he puts his dirty clothes of mopping the floor and cleaning the toilets of the airport for 9 years, writing the song "A Lovely Day" by Bill Withers, I think is his name. It's a beautiful song. And he had his breakthrough after 9 years, literally being a cleaning man in an airport. You don't think that if that happened to him, it can happen to you?
That's right. I do think so.
Yeah.
Now I see lots of people also struggling. They're like, I'm at a certain age. I'm unhappy with any job that I'm doing, and I still couldn't find my talent.
I find that's amazing. And then the question is do they have the energy to go after it or not, right? But I find it amazing because what it expresses is that they are searching. What it expresses is they are thinking, they're reflecting, searching. But here's the difference. Here's the problem is that there's many, many, many people like that. There's very few people that will need to take action and set the wheels in motion. The book, How to Think and Grow Rich, had it all figured out. One of the oldest books on self-development. Who makes a plan for themselves and drive into action is the difference between the reflectors and thinkers and the doers. There's tons of inventors in the planet Earth. There's stuff of inventions on bookshelves that never get commercialized in mass. And the difference between an inventor and an innovator, the innovator brings that new technological progress to the masses and become wealthy in the process. There's a lot of people that are very smart and brilliant that don't set things in action. That's why you have a lot of teachers of entrepreneurship that are not having a breakthrough IPO or a successful business being built. The brain is not enough. You need also the action, the gut, the heart, the spirit to get into action.
Love that. What does your company help businesses with right now? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company?
We help people basically pay only what they owe and not a cent more. So you have, like right now, the tax authorities charge between 8 to 10% of late fees when you don't pay on time. And there's tons of reasons why that happens. I'm not going to in detail now. Sometimes it's not enough time between the accountants and the business owners. Sometimes the business owners just don't pay attention. They're too busy. Sometimes there's a miscalculation. There's a lot of reasons why people get hit by fines by the Internal Revenue Service or the CRA. And we help people pay only what they owe with the partners that we have around us. So it's a very exciting business for me because it's very collaborative. It's like people on the platform, you have a lot of people from different organizations around that problem. And that's what we do. We try to help people pay only what they owe. Look, dollars are becoming hard to get by, right? You know that. We all know that. And so if you have, and governments in North America give a lot of checks for people to go buy Lululemon pants and stay at home during COVID. And now it's normal that they have to pull it back. And it's like the Canadian government had a surge of debt and they have to pay that interest on that debt. So collections of tax become very important. That's going to put a lot of pressure on people. And in some countries now, it's 80% penalty if you don't pay your taxes on time. So the government is making very serious on that. So on the supply chain of paying taxes and managing finances, I'm investing. It's not just my business, but I'm investing in every area that helps avoid those unfortunate situations where people have to pay 8 to 10% on top of what they owe to the government.
And it's fully automated, right? I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah, so basically we basically automate tax payments as much as possible and other things too in the process.
This is great, man. I hate it. The worst part of running my business is go on my computer and pay the remittance and pay this and pay that, and I have to do this, and sometimes you forget and you get fined and shit. You're right, like you have the money, you just forgot to fucking do it because this is a very boring part and you don't want to assign it to an employee.
Well, not just that. There's a problem. The other problem is that the cybersecurity issues right now. So we work very hard to have and that's hard. That's what not everyone can do. It's all the regulation, the licenses to do that. And again, right now what's picking up very fast is that, you have no choice. The governments all have no choice. In North America, at least, they have no choice but raising taxes. And that's going to put more pressure on cash flow for small business owners. And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid issues around that.
That's great.
Thank you.
How are you trying to market your services?
Various way, but directly is the easiest way, right? Is going to small business owners. Like do you
have a sales team?
Not really.
I'm trying to get a little bit more technical so we can learn something from you.
Well, so put it this way. You have to try everything that is legal, moral, and not cringy until you find what your clients like to be approached with the most, right? So I'm still in that exploratory phase where, although we see clients and sales coming in, I'm still looking relentlessly, okay, what else can we do to make it even easier for people to be of service to the clients, right? So that's what I say. And I think people are evolving. Buyers are evolving how they interact with software vendor, with service providers very, very quickly. So right now, I'm focusing on being as close as possible for my clients. That's all the advice I can say. Is like every business is different.
Collect feedback.
Just as close to them. So the clients that we have, how did you hear about us? What did you like? Why did you decide to click on that ad? Why did you received very well? Why some of our account managers are more successful than others? We don't have really sales team right now, but we have a few people that you could call doing sales part-time. I wouldn't call that person an account manager, but and also the other thing is everyone in my company has to be of service. My CTO brings leads, right? Like he talks about it all the time and he has a slightly different angle to the pitch of it. So we have a very strong culture. We have a very strong culture in our business with our partners as well to be client first and obsessed with what the clients need. And we're always looking at ways to make it simpler for them.
Did you raise money to start this company or you did it with your own money?
No. So the way we started that company was with a client that essentially the co-founder was having the problem in his business and he literally funded the beginning of the business. And then after that, when we had market fit, and it's time to harden a bit more things. I raised money from investors in Silicon Valley, Toronto, in the region here. Some people that invested in previous company. One of your former guests was my first investor in my previous company. Yeah. And he keeps saying, make me rich again. And he forced his way. I try not to have always the same people investing all the time. And then he was relentless. This is like...
Are you still raising money now? Are you still accepting angel investors?
We don't need much more right now, but we will start raising soon again. Look, in the rule of the game, the rule of the game in what I do is that if you want to service people properly, and if it makes sense strategically, there's some investors we have that are also our customers and clients and partners. So we will always raise to be able to partner with larger players that need that, because rising tide rises everyone, right? So if we know we're going to create an incredible amount of value for shareholders in our process, why not have some of our partners and even some of my clients invested along the way? We actually, the first, except Edin, because, he's a friend and he's also a friend for a long time, but we essentially first went to our partners and clients and informed them that we'll be fundraising soon. We did not solicit them, but we let them know. In fact, some of them heard from others that we were funding. That was an extreme moment of pride for us when we had some of our clients asking us if they can invest without us telling them we were fundraising, because they love the product, they love working with us, and
they believe in you as well.
Yeah, well, some of them straight up said, we've seen what you've done before, and we want to
be part of it. We want to be part of it. Yeah, that's a win, man.
Yeah,
you should be proud. I'm proud that I know you.
Thank you. I have a question to the audience, actually.
Okay, to the audience, good.
Yeah, you're off the hook.
Not to me.
I'd love the audience. Here's the killer question I have to the audience. What does success means for you?
Well, answer in the comments below.
Yeah.
I will also tag Salon.
What is your definition of success, and why does being a millionaire fit in that definition, right?
What's the definition of success for you?
My definition of success for me is to live a meaningful life and be of value for people around me. Right? That's my definition of success.
Do you have a meaningful life?
When you look back and you felt, at the end of the day, you're not going to take your money to the grave, right? Did you go challenge yourself, experience things you didn't experience, that you thought were not possible and prevailed? And, be an intelligent social animal, be an intelligent biological biped, which we call human. And the definition of intelligence, right, is, you do things that are good for yourself and that are good for others as well. If you do things that are just good for yourself, you're a selfish person, right? And it doesn't feel good over a long term. So everyone has a tiny bit of consciousness at some point and has regret if you're just selfish all the time. If you're selfless and just do to be charitable for others, at some point you maybe have a bit of resentment. How come some good things happen to me?
You're also a kiss ass and you're trying to do this to earn attention.
Maybe, or whatever. But having a meaningful life, for me, having a life where you're true to yourself, right? Like actually, if you Google what are the things people regret when they die, to me, there was a moment when I read that before and after.
What was it?
Like one of the top things is living a life true to you oneself. Not doing things that people expect, your parents, your family, others expect of you. If you're in a country, I'll give you the extreme example. Like I met someone that was in a country full of hate to each other in Asia. Like there was like civil warfare in his country, always hating each other. And it's like, why is there all that hate around me again? Because people before me hated those people across? Or because someone, and it's just like, no, not for me. That's not my vibe.
Too much.
He left. He's like, I don't want that. I don't want to live with always, I'm going to hate the people that are in the north and I'm in the south, and things like that. And so being true to yourself is very important. And to me, being true to myself means, stop luring myself that I'll be able to coast by. I have more energy than others, more ideas than others. And I love to have challenges. And my sister always joke, of course, Salon drives a fast car. Of course, Salon does fasting because if it's not intense, he falls asleep like a shark. The shark needs to keep moving.
They got offended because I called him crazy. I'll wipe your tears after the podcast. Thank you for your question.
Thanks for having me.
Answer this question in the comments below, and I'll also tag Salon so you can follow him. He posts some meaningful stories, and I learn so much from him all the time. He actually gave me a book, 7 Habits of Success.
Yes.
Right? I still have this book.
Great.
All right.